Harry and Meghan Markle have criticised an online petition ahead of their trip to Australia next month. Should not be taxpayer funded. A spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex responded, saying the trip is being privately funded.
Harry and Meghan were once seen as the shining stars of the British royal family, the couple everyone watched, talked about, and admired. They looked like the future, modern, bold, and full of promise. Every move they made grabbed headlines, and their place in royal history seemed locked in. But now, that perfect image is starting to crack in a big way. A petition with tens of thousands of signatures is calling for Australia to block their visit completely, with one loud message: no taxpayer money should be used to support it. As their connection to the monarchy keeps weakening, their future is starting to look uncertain, and people are paying attention. So now the question is heating up. Should Harry and Meghan still enjoy royal-level privileges, or is this backlash actually fair? Australia's reaction has flipped fast. What was supposed to be an exciting royal-style visit has turned into a wave of frustration and pushback. People who once welcomed royal appearances are now speaking out, louder than ever. At the center of it all is that fast-growing petition, pulling in signatures at a shocking pace. The demand is simple and direct: no public money for this trip. And this is not some small disagreement either. This is a full-on public response that's making global headlines. More Australians are stepping in and backing the call, turning this into something much bigger than just one visit. It's now about a deeper issue: the role of the royal family today, and whether former members should still get the same treatment they once had. For many people, this is not personal. It's about fairness, especially with the cost of living rising. People are asking why their tax money should go toward a visit that doesn't clearly benefit the public. Covering security, travel, and logistics for something not tied to official duties is being seen as unnecessary spending. The momentum behind this petition is sending shockwaves through royal circles. It's forcing both insiders and observers to rethink where Harry and Meghan actually stand now. Supporters say they still have global influence, but the reality is hitting hard. Their royal image is not what it used to be, especially after stepping back from official duties. For many, this visit raises a serious question. What does it even mean to be royal today? The idea that they should still be treated like working royals doesn't sit right with people who feel they chose a different path. This growing pushback is opening up a much bigger conversation. It's not just about one trip, it's about the monarchy's place in modern life. And with support for the petition rising, the message from the public is getting louder. Royal status alone is not enough anymore. What was once expected to be a grand, celebrated visit is now caught in a heated debate that could reshape how they are viewed long-term. Harry and Meghan may have expected a warm welcome, but right now, Australia is clearly not on board. So what's really behind this shift? Are these concerns valid, or is this reaction driven by emotion? Let's break it down further. What started as a small group of voices has now grown into a nationwide movement. And the message is crystal clear: no taxpayer money should be used for this visit. What once looked like a routine royal-style appearance has turned into a serious controversy. People are questioning whether it even makes sense to fund a trip that isn't tied to official royal responsibilities. As Harry and Meghan continue building a life outside the monarchy, more people now see them as private figures rather than active royals. Yes, their names still carry influence, but the big question keeps coming up: why should they receive the same treatment? After stepping away from royal duties, many believe they also stepped away from royal benefits. That's why this visit is causing such a strong reaction. It brings up whether those privileges should still apply. The petition has clearly struck a nerve. It's growing fast, and the frustration behind it is getting stronger every day. For many Australians, using public money in this way just doesn't feel right, especially during tough economic times. Again, for a lot of people, this is not about dislike. It comes down to fairness. Why should taxpayers cover costs for something that isn't serving a clear public role? This divide is putting Harry and Meghan in a complicated position. Public opinion is splitting more and more, and the couple that once received global praise is now facing serious criticism. Some still support their work and believe in their causes. Others, though, feel they are leaning too heavily on their royal past for personal projects. That tension is only growing. This petition is about more than money. It reflects a bigger shift in how people view royalty today. With support increasing, this trip has become a symbol of that changing relationship between the public and the monarchy. At the core of it, many Australians believe their tax money should not be used for this kind of visit. But is this attitude new, or has it been building over time? Back in 2018, things looked completely different. Harry and Meghan's royal tour of Australia was met with excitement everywhere. Crowds showed up in huge numbers, the energy was positive, and people were genuinely happy to see them. They were seen as fresh, relatable, and exciting additions to the royal family. But fast forward just a few years, and everything has changed. That excitement has faded, replaced by doubt, debate, and growing criticism. What used to be a celebrated visit is now something far more complicated and far more controversial. Today, their upcoming trip is no longer being seen as royal duty. It's being viewed as something personal, even business-related. And that shift has changed everything. The way Australians see Harry and Meghan right now is completely different. And for some, it feels like a letdown, especially with the pressure of rising living costs hitting hard. The idea of taxpayer money going toward a trip that doesn't seem official is not landing well at all. People are working harder, budgets are tighter, and many feel this kind of spending just doesn't match the reality they're living in. What used to feel like a grand royal moment now feels disconnected from everyday life. Australians are starting to question things more directly. If Harry and Meghan stepped away from official royal duties, should they still receive the same treatment as working royals? For many, that answer is no. What once looked like privilege tied to duty now feels, to some, like privilege without responsibility. There's a growing feeling that the couple is out of touch with what regular people are going through. People who once supported them are now looking at the situation differently, and that shift is hard to ignore. The reaction from the public shows something deeper. This visit, which could have brought people together, is now being seen as part of a bigger issue: the gap between public expectations and royal life. The old image of royal visits doesn't seem to fit anymore. What used to be welcomed with excitement is now met with hesitation, and for many, it highlights how much attitudes toward the monarchy are changing. In a time of financial pressure and uncertainty, people are questioning where value really lies. Harry and Meghan's trip now represents more than just travel plans. It reflects a shift in how people see status, privilege, and responsibility in today's world. As that gap between public struggle and high-profile lifestyles becomes more visible, opinions are getting stronger. Beyond the belief that the visit is not tied to royal duties, many are asking what the trip is really about. Is the petition against the visit justified, and does the public actually gain anything from it? These are the questions driving the debate forward. The situation escalated when it became clear that the trip was not connected to official royal responsibilities. Instead, it focuses on private ventures and speaking engagements, activities linked to personal and commercial goals. That detail changed how many people viewed the visit. What was expected to be a royal appearance began to look more like a business trip. That perception has led to frustration, with many questioning whether royal recognition is being used in a way that benefits personal interests. A key question keeps coming up: why should public funds support something that appears to be for private gain? With the cost of living rising, many feel taxpayer money should be used carefully and for clear public benefit. The concern is not just about the visit itself, but about what it represents. Funding something that seems to serve individual interests rather than the broader community does not sit well with many people. This situation has drawn a clear line between Harry and Meghan's past roles and their current direction. They have chosen to build careers outside the monarchy, and that choice is shaping how the public responds. As private individuals with global recognition, they still attract attention, but expectations have shifted. Many now believe that public support should be tied to public service, not personal ventures. The difference between their royal past and current business efforts is becoming more visible. For some, this signals that it may be time for them to operate without the advantages once tied to their former roles. For many Australians, the issue comes down to fairness and accountability. At a time when people are managing financial pressure, spending public money on something without clear public value feels difficult to justify. There is a strong view that public funds should support initiatives that directly benefit the population, rather than high-profile individuals building personal brands or commercial success. This shift in opinion reflects a broader reconsideration of the monarchy's role today. As Harry and Meghan move further from official duties, their connection to royal status while pursuing business opportunities raises ongoing questions. The reaction is not just about one visit. It reflects a larger discussion about what the public is willing to support and what responsibilities should come with status and recognition. Many believe the trip should not be publicly funded because it appears business-focused, with benefits leaning more toward the couple than the public. That perception continues to influence the debate. At the same time, their move toward independence raises another question. By stepping away from royal duties, are they now being treated like any other public figures? And is that shift fair? Harry and Meghan's independence has created a sense of uncertainty in how they are viewed. They remain globally recognized, but their role is no longer clearly defined within the royal structure. They are now focused on building careers through personal projects and commercial opportunities. This change has left people unsure about how to categorize them. Some believe they should now be treated entirely as private individuals, without the expectations or privileges tied to the monarchy. Others still see them as connected to the royal institution. The tension comes from this mix of identities. On one side is their history and recognition linked to the royal family. On the other is their current path centered on personal branding and business. This overlap is where confusion grows. People are asking whether they are still part of the royal world or fully independent figures. That uncertainty has created division. Some support their decision to step away and build something new. Others question whether it is appropriate to maintain royal recognition while pursuing private success. There is also a view among some that their royal background continues to play a role in attracting attention and opportunities. Critics argue that this recognition helps support their ventures in ways that may not be available otherwise. This ongoing debate shows how complicated their position has become, caught between past roles and present ambitions, with public opinion continuing to evolve. This growing perception of exploitation is starting to build real resentment among many people. To them, it feels like the couple is still enjoying the perks of royalty without taking on the responsibilities that once came with it. The argument is simple. If Harry and Meghan want to succeed on their own, then they should do it without leaning on royal titles or the recognition they gained during their time in the monarchy. That tension has created a clear split in public opinion. Supporters say the couple has every right to step away and build independent careers, chasing their own goals like anyone else. Critics, however, see it differently. They view the continued use of royal connections in business deals, speaking events, and media appearances as an unfair edge that most people simply don't have access to. For many, the expectation is straightforward. If you walk away from royal duties, you also leave behind the benefits tied to that role. That's where the pressure builds. As Harry and Meghan move deeper into this new phase of life, people keep asking the same question. Can they really separate themselves from their royal past? Or will those titles always shape their opportunities? At the center of all this is a deeper identity struggle. The debate is not just about one visit or one decision. It's about how the couple is seen in the long run. And while critics are loud, there are still people who support them, which adds another layer to the situation. So what are supporters actually saying, and why do they still stand behind the couple? That's where things get more divided. Public reaction to their Australia trip is far from unified. There is still a strong group of supporters who believe Harry and Meghan can use their influence for good, even outside official royal duties. They argue that the couple still has global reach and can bring attention to important issues that might otherwise go unnoticed. Some supporters believe the visit could highlight causes, bring media attention, and even benefit Australia by putting certain topics on the global stage. From this point of view, their presence still carries weight, even if their roles have changed. But critics are not convinced, and their concerns are growing stronger. One major issue being raised is the exclusivity of the events linked to the trip. Reports suggest that some of these gatherings are private and come with high ticket prices, meaning only a limited group of people can attend. For many, that raises a serious concern. It creates the impression that royal recognition is being used in a way that benefits a select audience rather than the general public. Events that are not open or accessible to everyone are being seen as more about status and profit than public service. This detail has added fuel to the frustration. People are questioning whether the visit is really about helping others or if it's more focused on promoting personal ventures. When access is limited to those who can afford it, it changes how the entire trip is perceived. The divide between supporters and critics has become more intense over time. Emotions are running higher and opinions are becoming more fixed. For some, the visit feels disconnected from everyday reality. With many Australians dealing with rising living costs and financial pressure, the idea of public money being linked to a visit that includes high-priced private events feels difficult to accept. Critics argue that it sends the wrong message, especially when people are struggling. There is also a growing perception that the couple is living a lifestyle far removed from the challenges faced by ordinary citizens. That contrast is making the situation feel more personal for many people. The emotional weight behind this debate is clear. Supporters continue to defend Harry and Meghan's right to build their own path and make use of their platform. On the other side, critics believe those same actions show a disconnect from real-world struggles. At its core, this debate comes down to two very different viewpoints. One side sees potential for positive impact, while the other sees an imbalance between privilege and responsibility. As the visit gets closer, this conversation is only becoming more intense. Some people still believe the couple should be welcomed regardless of their current status. But attention is now shifting toward another question. How does the royal family itself view all of this? That's where things become even more complicated. Harry and Meghan's planned trip has brought old tensions within the royal family back into focus. It has sparked new concerns and reopened conversations that never fully settled. According to reports, some palace insiders are questioning the timing and nature of the visit. There is a sense that the trip, which appears to have a strong promotional angle, may not reflect the traditional values associated with royal duties. For some within royal circles, the visit looks more like a business move than an act of public service. That perception is creating friction, especially among those who believe royal status should remain closely tied to responsibility and duty. The situation has become even more layered with Meghan's recent charity appearance in Los Angeles. Some observers have noted similarities between her work and causes already associated with Catherine Middleton. This comparison has added a more personal dimension to the discussion. It is not just about roles anymore, but also about visibility, influence, and how each figure represents their position. The contrast between Meghan and Catherine is being closely watched, and it is feeding into broader conversations about identity and responsibility within the royal space. These comparisons are not helping ease tensions. There is also ongoing concern about the continued use of royal titles in commercial settings. Since stepping back in 2020, Harry and Meghan have entered business, media, and speaking spaces in a major way. Even though they are no longer working royals, their titles still carry recognition, and that recognition plays a role in how their ventures are received. Some critics believe this creates an uncomfortable overlap between public duty and private gain. This issue continues to raise questions. Should royal titles be part of commercial efforts, or should there be a clearer separation? The structure of their Australia trip is adding to those concerns. With exclusive, ticketed events included, the visit appears to blend elements of royalty with celebrity culture. These events are not open to everyone, and that has led to more scrutiny. People are asking whether the focus is shifting away from public service and toward brand building. This perception is widening the gap between expectations and reality. For many observers, it highlights how far the couple's current path has moved from traditional royal duties. The criticism surrounding this situation reflects a broader challenge. Harry and Meghan are trying to balance independence with a legacy that still follows them closely. That balance is not easy to manage, and the tension is becoming more visible. The further they move into their new roles, the more questions seem to come up. The royal family itself is reportedly concerned that situations like this could affect how the institution is viewed. When actions appear to blur the line between service and personal interest, it creates uncertainty. Now, attention is turning to the wider impact of the petition and the reaction it has sparked. This controversy is not just about one trip. It is starting to influence how people think about royalty as a whole. In the past, royal visits were often welcomed without much question. They were seen as important, symbolic, and worth celebrating. But that mindset is changing. Australians, despite their long connection to the monarchy, are showing a growing willingness to question its role. They are no longer accepting everything at face value. This shift could have a wider impact. As people begin to challenge how public funds are used and who receives support, it may influence how other countries think about similar issues. It also raises a bigger question about former royals. Should they continue to receive the same level of attention and privilege after stepping away from official duties? Harry and Meghan sit right at the center of this question. They exist in a space between royalty and celebrity, and that position is not always easy to define. Critics believe they are using their past status to support their current ventures. Supporters believe they are simply adapting and using their influence in new ways. This divide is becoming more visible, and people are paying closer attention. The conversation is no longer just about tradition, but about fairness, relevance, and modern expectations. There is a broader shift happening. Ideas around privilege, status, and responsibility are being re-examined. If figures like Harry and Meghan are seen more as public personalities than traditional royals, it challenges long-standing ideas about hierarchy and duty. This moment may signal a turning point, not just for the couple, but for how former royals are viewed globally. If a country with strong historical ties to the monarchy is openly questioning its role, it suggests that attitudes are evolving in a significant way. Harry and Meghan's journey from royal life to independence has become part of a much larger discussion. It goes beyond them as individuals. It touches on how fame, influence, and legacy work in today's world. And as the line between royalty and celebrity continues to blur, public perception is shifting right along with it.